All right, here we are. Hello, everybody. And I hope you're all having a good evening. I hope my sound is coming through. Well, I'll find out. You can check on here. So I just wanted to get on here and, there's kind of a lot going on right now. And sometimes you just need a space where you can just process, I guess. I don't know. Is there any processing what's going on right now? Hard to say, really. So I'm just going to check real quick and make sure, well, somebody's here. If you can hear me, please let me know. That would be awesome. Okay, so I'm thinking too much. And thank you for joining me. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and let you guys have a space, if you need to. I know it's not totally like a face-to-face conversation, but sometimes it's good to just chat with other people. Obviously, I feel like I'm tiptoeing around the reason I'm on here. And I guess I'm doing that because I tend to feel like I have absolutely no ties to the Ukrainian people, except for, I'm another human. So I guess I feel like I am overreaching, if that's the right word, by coming on here and, I don't want to overstep, but at the same time, I feel like this is everybody's business. And, oh, Georgianne's here. Hi, Georgianne. I'm not sure. It looks like there's another one. For some reason, I'm not seeing who. So I'm using this service called StreamYard, and it will ask you to allow access or something, and that way I can see your name. I'm streaming to 3 different areas right now, so I'm not sure where everybody is coming from. But yeah, so if you grant StreamYard access, I guess, to see what your profile name is, and then that way I can see, who's here. But for those of you that are here, thank you for joining. So anything that you feel like you just need to get off your chest or anything like that, you can just go ahead and type it up. One thing I will say, this is not very firm. Hi, Jenny. You see Jenny's here. Very firm on, this is not, I'm not here for conversations to turn political. But if you have any fears or anything like that, and you just want to know that you're not alone, just wanted to create a space to allow for that. And hopefully my laptop doesn't frazzle out on me this time, because it did that last time. Okay, so somebody else is saying hi, and it just says Facebook user. So hello. Thank you for joining. All right, I've rambled for far too long. So because the flower of the Ukraine is a sunflower, I felt it would be appropriate to maybe just do a painting of some sort that is inspired by that. But I would like some help. If you guys can help me decide which of the reference photos I should use there. I picked some that I like, and I think I have a favorite, but we know what you guys think. I'm going to label this number 1. This is number 2. And it might just end up being a mashup of a couple. Okay, so Facebook user must be Georgianne. I appreciate you guys joining me. I am not quite used to this live stuff yet. I get on here and then I kind of freeze up because I feel like I'm talking to myself. And so it's nice to know that, you know, somebody is out there and I'm not just totally rambling to myself. Okay, we have a vote for 1. Then let me throw a couple more at you. See what you think there. And if you think there are any that should kind of be mashed together, I think we can do that too, because that's kind of what I'm picturing. Yeah, what are we thinking? Georgianne's thinking 1. I've got 3 people here, I believe. And so I'm not really sure what else to touch on here, but 3 with a blue sky. I like your thinking. That's kind of what I was picturing too. I like the sunflowers in the background because it's not, and even this one too, especially if we're thinking of, you know, like just really thinking of the war right now. So many countries in the world are showing support for the Ukraine. And I just feel like one big, bold sunflower with all those in the distance kind of, to me, kind of represents that. Just like, here's this one out there standing tall and, you know, the focus is on that one, but all those others in the distance are there with it. That sounds totally corny, but that's okay. I'm kind of corny. So I'm just going to have to be okay with that. All right. Anybody else have some votes? Georgianne, what do you think? You already said 1. But what if we did? Well, they're really kind of the same concept. I think the big difference for me between 1 and 3 is just the format of it. Like this one here is more, you know, it's a landscape format, whereas this one is what would be called portrait. It's like it gives it that room to, you know, really make this one sunflower really tall. So my plan here is just to, you know, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion and just some ideas for what I should do. And I'm not going to paint tonight, but I plan to get this sketched out. And I always like to do a small, I call it a thumbnail, which of course I don't have any with me. But when I'm creating a painting, especially for paint parties, because that's mostly what I do, before I spend time on a big surface, I like to do a small, you know, just like a little, I don't know, 2x3 little drawing and just do kind of a value study and see, you know, where I should add darks and lights to just really make it look the best that it can look. Oh, there's your name, Georgianne. Okay. Good with whatever the group likes. So there's, okay. There goes my laptop again. If I start cutting out really bad, just let me know. You know what? Is there any sort of an echo or anything? I just realized that I have both both mics on for both my cameras. If there's no echo, I won't touch anything, because if I touch something, then I'll mess it up. So Georgianne, what's your favorite part about this one, number one? Oh, my camera's doing a weird thing. You see those bars across the thing? That's so weird. Are you sure? You sure you like 3 the best? Oh my gosh. I'm having trouble with this here. Okay. Maybe it'll stay. All right. So if we're going to go with, we go with 3. But let's put that blue sky in there. Okay, I keep really distracting myself. So yeah, I just like to do a small version of what I'm picturing for a painting. And I like to color it with marker because, you know, it's a lot less messy. So let's start working that in there. And I really should have written down the names. I got these images from, now I can't remember the website, Unsplash, something like that. And they're all different photographers, royalty-free images. When I'm done here, I'll find the name of this photographer that did the photo we're referencing, which is going to be this one here. And I will put it up there. Now I've gone and messed with everything. You guys are so patient. Thank you. I found these sparkling coconut water drinks at Fred Meyer, and I love them. They're so good. All right, I think I'm going to see if I can switch this. Maybe. How's that? Doesn't get me any closer. Okay, we'll just do that. So I'm not going to fill this whole page. I think maybe we'll just do, and this is a little bigger than what I normally do for a new paint party design, but not a straight line at all. So does anybody have any thoughts or any things they want to share? I'll ask also, did you guys hear the story about the woman handing the soldier sunflower seeds? I feel like the world is never going to see sunflowers in the same way again. Can't see it real well, but I just like to really lightly sketch and Make it a little darker as I go. That way it's a lot easier, you know, when I make a mistake, which happens often, then I can just erase and it doesn't have any effect on, geez, what am I trying to say? It's easy to erase when you do really lightly. So I don't like to go dark with it until I am certain that's what I'm doing. I'll put a nice, straight as I can freehand, strong stalk on this flower. So how is everybody doing tonight? I see someone else has come in. Hi, thank you for getting on here and joining us. Is anybody sketching along? Or am I just talking away and just blabbering? So I don't have a, you know, perfect circular center. It's more of an oval. And that's one way if you wanted to change the direction that your sunflower is facing. That's one of the places you would start, is that center. The more oval it is, the more sideways, if that makes sense. And then it kind of becomes all about the shading and the highlights after that to create that dimension. And just really give it the look that it's not facing straight on. And the petals just kind of like super squished footballs, maybe. They can get kind of curly in parts. So it's almost like if you want to get a little bit of a curl going on, see, like this here. I've got those little, trying to see if I'm actually showing anything to you guys. Kind of swoopy. It's almost like a really relaxed S. Like, let's see if I can get it all the way up here. That's really hard to see. There, does that help a little bit? I mean, it's not great looking right now, but we're just sketching. It's not going to be perfect. And I didn't get very relaxed with these ones down here. So, you know, those will change as I do this. Just had to kind of loosen up a little bit. So there's a comment from King Church. I'm not sure what your comment means. I don't understand. There are all sorts of different kinds of sunflowers. I like the ones that have layers and layers of petals. So it's more to paint, of course, but I don't know that that's a problem. You usually start with that first layer. And I'm making these petals kind of thin. You definitely expand those, get a really, really extravagant. All right, Georgianne, have a nice dinner. So you can do much bigger petals if you like. I'm going to keep them a little smaller though. It's very quiet. I was thinking that maybe this might be helpful for anybody who's getting into painting or even drawing in general. You can always do value studies with drawings as well. I might be getting a little too fluffy there. A little much. I think one of the most fun parts about drawing anything from nature for me is how imperfect nature is. Like, you look at a sunflower, it's not going to be symmetrical. It's not going to have, if you were to cut it in half, it's not going to have the same amount of petals on one side or seeds. They're going to be different lengths. Some are going to be bent. So really, you can just kind of, you're kind of at liberty to make it look however you like. However, it is really easy to get into a pattern and end up with something very symmetrical. I think one of the hardest ones is when I'm painting snow with people, just, snowflakes. It is super easy to just get in a rhythm and end up with those dots that are, it looks like it was printed. You don't like that petal. Maybe I will turn my paper. Sometimes if you're struggling in an area, you just got to just flip your paper to fit the natural movement of your dominant hand. Make it work for you. The sunflower might be a little wild looking. How's that looking so far? Hi, Michelle. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. I'm not loving this area over here, and I don't know why. Just have to remind myself this is just a sketch, not the finished product. So I also had this idea of putting little words in here. You guys ever do that when you're creating something? You just add in just little, I'm not really sure what you would call it. Could be affirmations or prayers even. I know a lot of people who do scripture. Add that into their works. Want that center a little more full. Let's start turning these, not these, kind of turn the center a little towards, so I'll be facing the left. Just slightly, if I can manage that, just slightly. Look. What do you guys think? Or should it be like straight, looking straight on? Should it Be a little bit turned. You know what? After all of this, I think I'm seeing something in. Okay, so we were going off of this one here. Georgianne at first said she liked number 1. Now I'm feeling like these two, I was thinking they should be combined to begin with, but I kind of lost that in what I'm doing here. What I like about this one is that it's facing up. You see what I mean? This one here is facing, like, if it's following the sun, which it probably is, the sun is probably, I don't know, noonish maybe. So I don't want to totally scrap what I just did, but I do feel like this angle is just more more uplifting than this one. Okay. Should I start over? What do you guys think? I think I'm just gonna go for it. I won't get into quite as much detail. That way I can move along a little quicker. So, a little more. A little more oval on that. I say that as I erase everything I just did. I don't want it facing too upward. But I really like the big fluffy leaves on this one, so I'm gonna work that in here. So upward facing, center. Big strong stalk. We want a nice bright blue for the sky. So what kind of style do you guys think this should be done in? I should have some examples ready to go. We could go like impressionistic or I think it's expressive, where it's not like not super tight. Expressive artwork, when I see it, it feels kind of like messy a little bit, but it's put together. I don't know if that makes sense at all. And I wish I had an example, but lately I've been really liking the really kind of loose style of painting. I wouldn't call it expressionistic. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. or we could go abstract. I'm not going to lie, abstract art kind of, I appreciate it. But I don't know that right now that I could create it. Or should we go for just super realism and, just really get detailed with it? Any thoughts? I feel like, I'm going to go with, my vote would be for the style I've been into lately, of course. So, could help if anybody else thinks it should be done differently. I've just been really liking, like I said, a more loose brush stroke. So what I will do when I'm painting this to give it that subtle tilt is this side here is not going to have any petals over top of the center. This side will have some petals that go over that center. Kind of cover it up just a little bit. These are looking way too symmetrical. That's okay. I'm not going to mess with it too much because I just restarted everything. But that right there is one big reason that I like to do these smaller little thumbnail samples. I'm not committing to anything. Getting it on some paper. And out of my head. Helps me work out those little details. I recently did another spring painting. I really want warmer. I can't talk. Really want warmer weather. So I guess I'm just trying to. If I keep painting it, it'll happen, right? That's my delusion. Anyway, I did this spring bird painting that was sky blue with cherry blossoms and started out on my little thumbnail. I was gonna do more like a robin. And from doing that thumbnail, I realized that that's not really what I was picturing. I wanted more of a contrast between blue sky and the bird. So I ended up doing a bright yellow. I believe they're called goldfinches. So it had a really nice bright contrast. I really like how the yellow looks against that blue sky. Which is kind of what we're doing here. So clearly I like that. All right. Go for thick stock on here. Let's see. Get a big leaf coming out from here. think that should come down a little more. Okay.
There's an
Ava commenting. Again, I'm not sure what the comment means.
So
I don't know if you want to elaborate on that. It's very similar to the other. These ones are coming from YouTube. So thanks for joining us from there. I'm a little skeptical though. Okay, another big leaf with those jagged edges. Didn't get quite as far as I was thinking. Just because I decided to,
completely
redo it.
But
I feel much better about
this one.
I'm liking it. Liking it quite a bit more. Any thoughts? What are you guys thinking? Big leaf right here. I'll kind of lead it off of what will be the canvas. Put a little bit of shading. I'm going to break out the markers here in a minute and start getting some color in there to see
where the shadows
should go, where the highlights should go.
What do
you guys think? Don't look at that one. I changed it up.
I feel like
it needs a little more, like maybe this leaf over here is hanging over from the other side. And oh, hi, Bonnie. All right, you like it so far?
So we're just gonna just really
lightly sketch in that kind of horizon, which will be the top of the sunflower field behind this one. Maybe kind of sketch in where I would like to have those out of focus sunflowers. The reference photo here has a giant leaf off the corner there. State of the Union address. I obviously missed it. What's the State of the Union, Bonnie?
Please
share. Or don't. I'm not sure. Do we want to know?
It's good to know.
But good to know things. But I also tend to deal with things by digging a big hole in the sand and sticking my head in it. I'm realizing that. It's not good, but you know, I can work on it now. Or later. whenever.
Okay,
So I want to have this, everything about this sunflower in the foreground. I'm going to have that, I'm not going to say really detailed, but that's going to be the most in focus. Oh, thank you. Hopefully the sunflowers are a better distraction. There's just too much.
Just too much
going on. Yeah, so I think I already said that. That this sunflower is going to be really the only one with detail.
I have a little bit of a cold. Excuse me.
I don't know where it came from all of a sudden.
Right.
I'm going to use, I like to use these alcohol ink markers that I have. And they really like to bleed through. So
I feel like I
shouldn't
use
use my
my
samples. But that's okay. Let's do it. Also gonna, that's really bright. What I want. These markers are really cool, but I don't totally have them down. But they blend really well. So I think I'll start with I'm going to start with that lighter one. If I don't like it, then you just take the darker one and go right over it. Should change a little bit, but
okay.
Before I get too far, do we need some clouds, or should it just be like a crisp blue sky? I'm going to pick out some other colors and see if I get some input. I don't like that for sunflower. Bumblebee yellow. Let's try a bumblebee.
It looks the same.
Hey, I have a marker here that is sunflower yellow. It kind of looks the same as the other two. What is going on here? Tough one. Yeah, I don't know about clouds, but
I almost
feel like it should have some clouds because that makes it, you know, not that a clear blue sky is perfect, but clouds are usually like an indication of, well, no, I can't even say that. I was going to say an indication of trouble, but that's not quite true. Just for simplicity's sake, let's go for clear blue sky. No clouds. Okay. Thank you. Sometimes I just need somebody to make the decision for me. Bonnie knows that too, don't you? So I've not been watching the news. This isn't a new thing. Haven't been watching the news for quite a while. It's just too much. And especially now, I feel like out of all the shows on TV for kids to be watching, the news is one of the worst. Always has been. Especially now. It's like over sensationalized and just too much. But something that's weird to me, when I really think about it, is that we can just sit there. Thank you, Bonnie. We can sit there and watch these current events play out, in some cases, live from, not from a journalist perspective, just from an average human. We can watch these things playing out from their perspective in the palm of our hands. And that is just crazy. That's crazy, right? And I've been better the last couple of days. I have not been completely consumed by watching these firsthand events, firsthand videos, I guess I should say. That doesn't mean I won't do it later today after the kids are in bed and kind of get caught up on what's going on. I mean, I'm sure it hasn't changed much, but
be nice if it changed for the better. I keep seeing these
TikToks of
people yelling
at their screen.
Yelling
to their camera.
That they're
tired of
living
through major historical events. And I could not agree more. And it makes me wonder, past generations, this is not the first time there's been a pandemic or a war or civil unrest. It's not the first time.
But did past generations have
so much of it, so much information coming in all the time that there was not a whole lot of room to think about other things? The train is loud. All right, that's going to do for now. Let's go in with... I'm going to start with the lightest yellow. Here is Tuscan Sun. train must be traveling south. It's a loud one, so be ready. They like to toot their horn. What do you guys think of that contrast? Maybe I should have gone with the brighter. I mean, in the painting, it's not going to turn out this color exactly anyway, but this blue almost turned out, it's got a green undertone. Can you hear the train yet, Bonnie? Okay, so a question. I plan on, getting this design figured out for a painting. And I'll be back on here Thursday evening to paint that. So I would love to know if anybody, if I should offer a template for this. Be a template, and could even do a supply list. Or one thing that's fun about the templates is you don't even have to paint. You don't even have to draw. You could print it out and you could color that. You could just use that and just have fun with it. So this won't, it's not going to blend like, like paint would. It's not going to totally give that unfocused effect, but it's going to give enough of that. So for these, I'm just scribbling. Just doing a little bit of scribbling for right now. We need some music. You guys usually craft or create to music. I feel like that's the best way. It's the only way. Or listen to a podcast. I have a podcast that I like to binge on when I need something a little more to focus on than just, than music. And if you struggle at all creatively, this guy's pretty fun to listen to. His podcast is called The Creative Pep Talk. And he's got a lot of good stuff, I feel like. It's geared towards people with creative businesses or just a creative practice at all, which could be, journaling or anything you do that is creating. I feel like anybody could benefit from listening to his pearls of wisdom or whatever you want to call it. All right, so maybe a template. It's not a bad option. But yes, definitely freehand, because you can just get so loose with the petals and everything. All right, so I'm just going in with a little bit of darker. This is, yellow ochre. I thought this was the sunflower. No, I just used sunflower yellow. So when I come back on Thursday and paint again, or paint, can't say again. Should we change up the medium or stick with acrylic? I've been doing acrylic. Watercolors, they can be pretty fun. I am an expert in none of the mediums, but I am finding that I like the little bit of like subtle chaos that is watercolor. You can't totally control it. You should try watercolors. I tried them in the past. Like when I say past, I mean like years ago, and didn't really like it. But I think the problem wasn't the medium, it was me, of course. Just didn't totally understand it. I at times like to be really detail oriented in my art. Probably not in life. But in my art, I can get pretty into realism, which can really hinder me at times. But you can achieve that with watercolor, but it's a totally different type of realism. Bonnie, you should look up Steve Hanks and check out his watercolor work. It is amazing. Yes, direction. I mean, we just talked about that. You know I like direction. Just decide for me, okay? That's how I function. Not always, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And that's a bit of anxiety, you know. If you are having trouble making decisions, like it's just almost impossible to do, that might be anxiety. Totally trailed off on a different little tangent there. All right, let's put some brown in the sunflower. I was trying to keep this under an hour tonight, but gone over a little bit. But we're not
too far from being done.
That is too red. Well, I'll go with this one. Guess I only have 3 browns. Just a little shading in there. So recently I did some pet portraits, and I did those in watercolor, and I really enjoyed it. But the way I did that, I did the main parts of the pet, any outlines and stuff. I actually outlined in a black marker, a really fine point black marker. And from there, I painted over top of it. So I was able to still achieve that little bit of structure for, to keep the likeness of the pet. But then have that looseness of the watercolor. And I really actually enjoyed it. And I feel like a sunflower in watercolor could be pretty fun. And I know that those pet portraits that I did would not qualify as watercolor, you know, when you look at it in the purist aspect, because I used marker and I also used a little bit of white gouache. So the really pure way of watercolor art, I believe, is that they use the paper. The white of the paper is the white of your painting. So it definitely would not qualify as a purist watercolor painter. All right, let's really quickly fill that in. I don't think I like this one, but that's okay. No, it works. It's a little funny looking right now. Oh my goodness, this cold just came from nowhere. Is that green? It is green. So I was talking about adding some words into this when I do the finished painting. But I'm not totally sure even what words I would add in there. What do you guys have any ideas? And it wouldn't have to be anything set. That would be one of those things that, you know, if I were to be painting this with a group of people, it would be encouraged to put your words into it. So what words would you put into it? I don't remember where I read it, but I just read just the other day that somebody, I wish I could remember, it was a quote that the opposite of war is not peace, but creation. And I just felt like it makes so much sense. So maybe somewhere in there, maybe it would say create. Maybe unity. I know there have been plenty of conflicts in my lifetime. You know, it's not new. But I feel like this is the first time I've ever been really old enough to pay attention and even though it's, you know, half a world away, just feeling an impact. And maybe it's because I have my own kids. You know, I have young kids, and it's just hard to not have this at the top of your mind all the time when you're just kind of afraid for what's going to happen next. And I don't know if it's an actual, like if you would actually call it a fear or just, I guess it would be, yeah. But not like crippling fear, just, it's just a fear and a worry. And it's confusing. I feel like I just don't understand what the purpose is to do these things to other people. It makes no sense to me. We're all here together temporarily. That's not perfect, but it's not supposed to be. All right, let's do some green. Green. So this reference photo has, let's see, there's a lot of light greens in there. We need a good variety. But I don't think neon is going to do it. No, that's not the right one. Lime green. Yeah, we can always tone that down a little bit. Just really get the sun shining through. I guess it'd be shining onto. Just get those edges. Did the train make it past your house, Bonnie? Let's see. sunlight there. Also do some little bright spots. You know, I could not figure out how to get my camera closer here. I can try. Oh, how's that? I bet you do just tune out the train at this point. I don't always pick up on it when it's coming by, but sometimes I don't know what it is, but it's like the horn is just so much louder than other times. Thanks. All right, I'm glad I could get it a little closer. I thought that I would be able to, you know, zoom my actual camera and not have it right here because it's really close to my hand, but I couldn't figure it out. Doesn't mean I can't do it. Just means if I can, I don't know how yet. Okay, I think we'll stop there for highlights for now. Go to something a little darker. I feel like that's way too bright. Almost looks like the one I just tried looked like not a natural color. Same with that. That's a little too blue. My favorite part of doing this is how I pull a marker out, and even if I don't use it, I don't put it back in the case. So then I have to spend 5 minutes putting all my markers back. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I could even use a little bit of black in there just to really add some depth to it. This marker died. That marker's not a thing anymore. Oh, this one maybe. Yes. I think that'll work. So I'm not really focused on it right at this moment, but I would probably, you know, when I paint this, I would probably put a little more detail into these petals to where you could actually see the veins, or not petals, sorry, the leaves. Not to the point that it would get, you know, cartoony, but you still want to have that little detail in there. Oh, there's bright green there. Yeah. I think that color's working. So usually when I do one of these for a painting, it doesn't take quite as long, but it's half the size of what I've done here. I just try to keep it really quick, and it took me a while to learn. I've had a few different times where I was trying to work on something, designed for a potential customer, and spent almost an entire day painting something, this idea that I had, just for it to be rejected. She didn't like it, and that's fine. But a few times of stuff like that happening, and I finally learned to not waste my supplies or my time creating an entire painting. Just do it small. Use markers, get the idea, and go from there. It'd be cool to add a sun ray. It would be really hard, at least for my brain. I think you could do that. Could definitely add a ray of sunshine, a ray of hope. Okay, so I think these areas out in the back would definitely need to be, that's going to need to be a little bit darker to really help the foreground come forward. Somehow I'm kind of limited on my greens, and I don't know why. I already tried that one. It's just really... I mean, I have plenty of green choices. They're just... They don't look organic, if that makes sense. That's a good one. Okay. You see, like, these ones here, they just look too... They're too bright. Or maybe I'm just picky. Who knows? That one's okay. It's still really not defining this front and center sunflower quite enough, though. So when I paint this, these background sunflowers would be really I don't know the proper term for it, but what I want to say is brushy. Like, oh geez. No, there's another weird YouTube comment. I mean, thanks for commenting, but I'm not sure you're a real person. I feel like you're not. Yes, exactly. Bonnie. Yeah, those colors are just they just don't look like the color of a leaf you would go out and echoing. Uh-oh. Okay. How do I do this? 1 second here. Okay. Hi, Ellen. Is that better? Let me know if I fixed it. I don't have too many oh, why didn't you tell me? You stinker. Oh, okay, better. Thank you, Ellen. I appreciate someone who's looking out for me. Makes me feel loved. I had a feeling that I didn't do something quite right. No, I know exactly what it is now. I thought about it and then squirrel brain, I moved on to something else. It's because I had both the mics turned on. I know, I love you too. That's why I can give you a hard time, right? And you, me as well. Yeah, I'm a dork and I had two different mics going at the same time. So I should have known that I needed to shut one off. Okay, so that's not, I'm not loving that background, but this is, again, just test run. And it's this color. Not that color, but need highlight. So I have this one marker called, okay, now my thing is telling me that my mic is muted. I know I did that on purpose because I have another one. So if suddenly you guys can't hear me, let me know. We'll wrap this up here soon. Anyway, but this marker, it says it's a blender, but it actually kind of removes the marker a little bit. Oh, sorry. So that might actually give me the effect I'm looking for over here. Not quite, but that's okay. It gives it a little bit of a blend there. Not much. It doesn't really remove the marker. It kind of like desaturates it. Is that a word? So Bonnie, talking about a sunbeam, and we're talking about watercolor. There is this, what do you call it? A substance, I guess. This stuff, it's called masking fluid. So you put it on your paper before you paint, and you can just completely paint around it. So you kind of like paint the masking fluid onto your paper and just do your painting. And when you're done, everything's completely dry. You peel that fluid off and it leaves white paper underneath. So that would be one way to add in a sunbeam if you were doing watercolors. I don't think this will desaturate it enough to make a beam, but we'll see what happens when it dries. Yeah, I actually just got a bottle of it. I haven't tried it yet, but where did I put it? Yeah, right here. The masking fluid. See how long I have this before I actually get to try it, because I do that. I like to collect art supplies, hang on to them for years, and then finally get bold enough to try it out. All right. Not loving this down here. That's okay. Let's do a little bit of super dark areas. Little dots in here. Okay. Yes, keep me accountable. Sometimes I need a deadline too. So if you could give me a date, for which I need to finally try that masking fluid and like report back to you, that would help. Need a deadline. Yeah, this isn't looking great in some spots, but April 1st. Okay, I think I can manage that. All right, you heard it here, folks. We will try masking fluid by April 1st. I will report back with my findings. I have a feeling you'll have a Fool's Day surprise for me anyway. All right. Not great, but it gives us an idea. Just a little bit of shadow. I can always count on you, Bonnie, for the unexpected. Okay, so in a painting, I don't know that I would make these shadows, the blackest black, but I don't have anything in between in my markers. I have like a dark chocolate brown or something. I don't even know where it is. Where'd it go? It's weird. Yeah, dark chocolate brown and then black. There's nothing in between the darkest brown here and my black. So I'm just using that. Shading way out in the background. Oh, maybe some shadow there. Laughter is the best medicine. I agree. All right, I think we're going to call it on this one. That gives us a good base to go off of. Good idea. What do you think? I can't figure out my camera. Oh, I froze. Am I frozen? I'm frozen. It looks better from further away. I'll just leave it here. All right. So, what do you guys think? Paint in watercolor? Paint in acrylic? You want a tracer? I should be able to, if we want a tracer, I should be able to do that by, Thursday. Have it available for download. Oh, excuse me. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody getting on here and for giving me some input. That really helps. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. And I appreciate you guys sitting with me. What am I trying to say? Sitting through this with me while I completely change directions, like 20 minutes in after a ton of rambling. So now, I think that's good. So we'll let you guys have your evening, and hopefully I'll see some of you back here on Thursday. If anybody sketched along with me, I would love to see what you did. And if you paint with me on Thursday, I would really love to see it too. Just let me know if you think, should we switch it up and go for some watercolor or stick with what I know a little better? Maybe that's the right choice. I really don't know. All right. Well, you all have a great night, and we'll see you back here on Thursday. Bye.